What if I told you that planting the wrong seed in your backyard could actually get you fined or even arrested? Sounds unbelievable, right? Gardening feels peaceful and harmless. You plant a few seeds, water them, and let nature do the rest. But in some parts of America, certain plants are actually illegal to grow because they're considered dangerous or destructive. And here's the shocking part. Some of these plants look completely harmless, and one of them might already be growing in gardens near you. Today, we're uncovering 7 garden crops that are still illegal or heavily restricted in America, and the surprising reasons why. Let's get in. 1. Currants and gooseberries, Rebe species. At first glance, currants and gooseberries seem completely innocent. These small berry bushes produce sweet and tart fruits that people use in jams, pies, and syrups. In many European countries, they are common in backyard gardens. So, why would America ever ban them? The story goes back more than 100 years. In the early 1900s, white pine trees were extremely valuable to the American economy. Their wood was used to build homes, ships, and furniture across the country. Then a deadly disease started spreading through pine forests. The disease, known as white pine blister rust, was caused by a fungus that needed 2 plants to survive. One host was white pine trees, and the other was currants and gooseberries. Once scientists discovered the connection, the government reacted fast. Millions of berry bushes were destroyed in an attempt to save the forests. A nationwide ban on growing currants and gooseberries soon followed, although the federal ban ended decades later. Some states still enforce restrictions today. In places like New York and parts of Michigan, certain varieties remain banned or require special permits. So yes, planting a simple berry bush in the wrong state could still get you into legal trouble. 2. Water spinach, Ipomoea aquatica. This next plant grows incredibly fast, and that speed is exactly what makes it dangerous. Water spinach is a leafy green vegetable popular in many Asian dishes. It tastes great in stir-fries and soups, and in warm climates, it grows almost effortlessly. But once it escapes into natural waterways, everything changes. Water spinach spreads aggressively across lakes, rivers, and canals. It forms thick floating mats that block sunlight from reaching underwater plants. As oxygen levels drop, fish and other aquatic life begin to suffer. The plant can also clog drainage systems and irrigation canals. In flood-prone areas, blocked waterways can create major environmental and property damage. Because of these risks, the United States classifies water spinach as a federal noxious weed. States like Florida, Texas, and California heavily restrict or completely ban it unless growers have special permits. What looks like a harmless vegetable can quickly turn into an environmental disaster. 3. Opium poppy Papaver somniferum. This plant is probably the most beautiful one on the list. Its large, colorful flowers come in shades of pink, purple, red, and white. Many gardeners admire them purely for their appearance. And yes, these are also the same plants connected to poppy seeds used on bagels and pastries. But hidden inside the plant is something far more serious. The sap from opium poppies can be processed into powerful narcotics like morphine and heroin. Because of that, the plant falls under strict federal drug laws in the United States. Now here's where things become complicated. Some people claim they grow these flowers only for decoration. But if authorities believe the plants are being cultivated for drug production, it can become a serious criminal offense. Even a small garden patch could attract unwanted legal attention. That's why law enforcement treats these flowers very carefully. It's a strange reminder that even the most beautiful plants can carry major risks. For bitter almonds, Prunus dulcis var. Amara, most people think almonds are one of the healthiest snacks in the world. But bitter almonds are a completely different story. At first glance, bitter almonds look almost identical to the sweet almonds sold in grocery stores. But inside, they contain compounds that can release hydrogen cyanide when crushed or chewed. Yes, cyanide. Even a small amount of raw bitter almonds can be dangerous. For children, just a few can potentially be fatal. Because of these risks, unprocessed bitter almonds are heavily restricted in the United States. Their commercial sale is banned unless they are specially processed to remove the toxic compounds. In some countries, bitter almonds are safely used in flavorings and desserts. But handling them properly requires strict regulation and expertise. This restriction exists for one simple reason: public safety. Sometimes the most dangerous plants are the ones that look completely normal, and that's what makes bitter almonds so unsettling. They don't look toxic or threatening at all. In fact, if you place them beside regular almonds, most people would never notice the difference until it's too late. 5. Garlic mustard, Alliaria pedilata. Garlic mustard sounds harmless. Honestly, it sounds more like a salad ingredient than a dangerous invasive species. European settlers originally brought this plant to North America as a food source. It grew easily, tolerated shade, and seemed useful at the time. But over the years, it spread far beyond gardens. Garlic mustard produces thousands of seeds every year, allowing it to quickly take over forests and natural habitats. And the real damage happens underground. The plant releases chemicals into the soil that harm beneficial fungi. These fungi help native trees absorb nutrients and survive. Without them, tree seedlings struggle to grow, native plants disappear, and forest ecosystems slowly begin to collapse. Because of its destructive impact, many states now ban planting or transporting garlic mustard. In some areas, people are even encouraged to remove it whenever they see it. What makes it even more alarming is how fast it can dominate an area once it takes hold. A single patch can slowly push out entire communities of native plants that took decades to grow. And by the time people realize the damage, restoring the ecosystem can take years. 6. Kudzu, Pueraria montana. Kudzu is one of the most terrifying nicknames in America, the vine that ate the South. And honestly, that nickname is not an exaggeration. Kudzu was originally introduced to the United States as an ornamental plant and later promoted as a solution for soil erosion. At first, it seemed incredibly useful. Then it started growing out of control. Under the right conditions, kudzu can grow up to a foot in a single day. It climbs trees, covers abandoned buildings, wraps around power lines, and blocks sunlight from everything underneath. Trees trapped beneath the vine eventually die because they can no longer photosynthesize properly. Entire forests across the southern United States have been swallowed by this aggressive plant. Today, planting kudzu is illegal in many states, and transporting across state lines is heavily restricted. A single fast-growing vine turned into one of America's biggest environmental disasters. What once seemed helpful eventually became almost impossible to control. 7. Coca plant, Erythroxylum coca. And finally, we have the most controversial plant on this list. The coca plant is a woody shrub native to South America. In its traditional setting, coca leaves have cultural and historical uses that go back centuries. But the plant also contains a primary ingredient used to produce cocaine. Because of that connection, the coca plant is classified as a controlled substance under federal law in the United States. Growing or possessing a live plant without special permission from the DEA is illegal, and those permissions are extremely rare, usually limited to scientific or medical research. Unlike some plants on this list where laws vary by state, coca is strictly controlled nationwide. Even if someone claims they are growing it as a decorative or curiosity plant, private cultivation remains illegal. It's one of the clearest examples of how a plant's chemical properties can completely determine its legal status. What makes the debate around coca so complex is the difference between the traditional plant itself and the illegal drug made from it. Yet despite that distinction, the strict laws in the United States leave almost no room for private cultivation or personal use. There you have it. 7 garden crops still illegal to grow in America. From beautiful flowers with dangerous secrets to invasive plants capable of destroying entire ecosystems, these crops prove that not every plant belongs in every backyard. Some threaten forests and waterways, while others are tied to strict federal laws and serious safety concerns. It's a fascinating reminder that even gardening can have unexpected consequences when the wrong plant ends up in the wrong place. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And let us know in the comments which of these plants shocked you the most. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.